Hello, this is Blue Star, Defender of Equestria, and this is my Afterthoughts review of Flutter Brutter. This episode wasn't as bad as I first thought it was. As Jordan from Obod's Racer says, you never know. Maybe I'll actually start to hate the guy less. Finally, I quoted a show that wasn't Babylon 5. Let's just say I would really like to keep this one reasonably short, even though I'm most likely going to fail. The short story is, this episode made me so angry and frustrated the first time because it touched upon two sore subjects. The first was, adults living with their parents, because I live with mommy and daddy. But the short answer is, as a lot of people have pointed out that, this is not what this episode is about. It's like, son, it's time for you to move out. The reason why he has to move out is simply because, he's a freeloader and he doesn't get a job or he doesn't do that. I have a job. I work. I contribute to the household. I'm not the problem. All that stuff, which is... Okay, anyway, I'm getting off track here, So the short answer is that, that's not what this episode was about, but that's a touchy subject for me, because I've always beaten myself up about that, and when I really shouldn't, and that's the short answer. So anyway, the other is that I've had to deal with a guy like Zephyr before. It was very frustrating, time-consuming, and a total waste of my time and energy, because just like in this episode, people like this will simply not listen. Because they think they're all that, and that, they're above everyone's rules and they can do whatever they want. And sadly, it resulted in me having to block that person. As I like to say, I had to kick this person away and let them drown, because otherwise they were gonna bring me down with them. So I'm not very happy about that, But, as this episode basically, in a way, confirms I did the right thing. Because, you can't let people like that push you around. So the first time I watched this episode, it's like, I'm just frustrated and angry. And I can't get past Zephyr's bad behavior. It's like arrogance, selfishness. These are things that just drive me berserk. I mean, certainly to this point as well. It's just like, who does this guy think that he is? My gosh. But as other people have pointed out, people often act this way to hide their own insecurities. Well, that's a good point. It's kind of a shame this episode failed to point this out to the audience. After I watched this episode a second time, now I sort of kind of know what I'm in for. I'm kind of more prepared for this episode. Then I could actually almost sort of enjoy this episode. And there were some fun things in this episode. I mean, like Rainbow Dash's reactions to Zephyr flirting with her. And it's just like, I don't want to have anything to do with this guy. It's like I was so, ticked off by Zephyr's bad behavior. I didn't even get the joke at the end about, Rainbow Dash, pining over him. And she's like, what? It's like, I don't like this guy at all. Why does every pony think I like him? Poor Rainbow. But the other big positive thing in this episode, oh my gosh, the big one is that, obviously, Fluttershy's family, which I know a lot of people were all excited for and everything. This is almost a point of why I'm glad that I don't go out and do spoilers. I would have been disappointed with Zephyr. But however, the parents were actually pretty interesting. But for me, it's not a big deal to me, to be honest. It was kind of nice to see their parents, but again, the really big thing is that Fluttershy. It's like, she was so strong and assertive in this episode, and it's just so nice to see that Fluttershy growing from that character in season 1 that was so shy she couldn't even talk to a stranger. And now she's actually standing up for herself and her parents, and that was the cool thing about this. Like, she doesn't, in a previous season, she would have been like, oh my gosh, what do I do? It's like, no, she knows what she has to go do. And she goes and does it. Yo-ho! Good for you, Fluttershy. I mean, the song at the end was actually pretty good. I like it, but overall, I think this episode is... it's kind of okay. It's kind of not okay. There's some good points and bad points. Because I still don't feel this episode is really accomplishing what it's setting out to do, because it wasn't a way, I'm not really sure what the lesson of the moral is. Unfortunately, the direct moral for this guy is, shut up, you lazy pony, and do as you're told! It's like, that's the problem, is that, what, I have little sympathy for someone who's basically so lazy that they're not gonna even try, or not even do the work at all. It's like, and I don't buy this notion that, oh, he's afraid to fail. He's that afraid that he's not even gonna try at all? I don't have sympathy for that at all. I mean, Again, to do this short and hopefully without resulting this in an angry rant, it's like, you know, between work and videos and this thing called adult life, I'm exhausted. Unfortunately, it's like to say, somebody throw me a life preserver because I'm ready to go under. There have been times where I would have loved to just simply sit and do nothing all day, but you know what? It's like, I'm not gonna do that. And so, yeah, it's hard for me to have sympathy for this guy, especially when this goes on for like 15 minutes. Yeah, I mean, even when we see the guy homeless, yeah, I feel for the guy. I'm sorry that he's homeless. But at the same time, it's, you know, they did everything they could to try to help him, and, you know, he's not gonna do the work, you know, sorry, you know, unfortunately helping can only go so far. At some point, it's up to you to go take care of it. So yeah, so I'm like, But I do have to say, they handle that very realistically, because yeah, the short answer is, again, is that the only way people like this will listen is basically when they're broken. It's like when their backs are up against the wall, and they have no choice but to listen to you. When he basically has the choice of either listening to Fluttershy, or spending the rest of his life homeless and being miserable. So yeah, but still, I'm glad that in the end he did learn and that he did change and that, you know, he did manage to, you know, finally finish something. But yeah, I'm still not certain that this episode accomplished what it was trying to do, because it feels like almost a mishmash of like all the various believe in yourself and you can succeed, or have confidence in yourself, or you can do it and stuff, but again, it goes back to that's really not the guy. It sort of is it's what the episode states as his problem, is that he basically he's afraid of failing, but really he just needs to just shut up and get on with it and just try it. I mean, if it had been like, oh, he tried, failed, oh, okay, I can understand that. You know, I feel like almost in a way, a character like George McFly would have been a little bit more suitable for this particular lesson. It's like, what? Let people read my stories? It's like, what if they didn't like them? I don't think I could take that kind of rejection. I could understand that, you know, I could legit that. And he actually wrote the darn stories, he just doesn't want to show them to anyone. Okay, that would have, I think, worked in some ways better. But overall, this episode was kind of okay. Unfortunately, I think for me, I don't think I'm gonna be able to enjoy this episode, I think, pretty much ever. It's like, I had a thought, it's like, I found a way to enjoy this episode, and that's simply to skip the first 15 minutes and just watch the last 5, because that's really when everything just kind of comes, you know, together. It's like, that's when the guy finally stops being a jerk and actually starts being a character that, you know, I might actually, you know, want to see succeed. This episode just simply does too good of a job of making this guy this big, arrogant, selfish jerk, and it doesn't do enough at the end to turn it around so that you actually want this guy to succeed. I mean, I do want to, well, I don't know if that's the way to put it, but it's just like, I just simply don't buy his explanation at the end. Nah, I just don't buy it. It's just that simple. But having said all that, you know, again, I'm glad that the guy did succeed, and that he did turn around and all that, and I'm glad that it worked out for him in the end. I also kind of liked, you know, it's like, oh, look who graduated from main training or whatever. It's like, what? You didn't invite us to the graduation? How could you? So there were a few fun things here, but overall, I guess it's a neutral grade, I guess, but it's definitely not, this episode is definitely not going into my list of favorite episodes, I'm afraid. But, oh well, at least we got to see Fluttershy's family, and there's one more episode left before the, I guess, mid-summer hiatus or whatever, so, here's hoping that the next episode will be better, yo-ho! So that is the end of my afterthought review for this episode, because I keep getting the name of this episode wrong, and I just want to get this video done, so... This is Blue Star. Stay strong, and pony on. Blue Star out.